Longest Jake here with another Busby Classics episode, and this one's going to be a little out of chronological order, and I have a reason for doing so. I actually have a couple videos that I want to share featuring this blaster and some parts that are available for it, so we're going to kind of jump around a little bit here. And where I had been dealing with the very early 2000s, working my way up to towards 2010, on previous episodes, we're going to jump all the way up to 2015 to take a look at what was probably Busby's greatest blaster, or at least one of their top three, in my opinion, that they've ever made. And that would be the Sentinel. The mag-fed, lever-action, spring-powered blaster that basically shocked the world of flinging foam when it arrived in 2015 with the Ultratech line. Now, the Ultratech line itself was very short-lived. It had a lot of great blasters. It had Champion, the Reaper, the Sentinel itself, Brute, and a bunch of others that, unfortunately, with the short-lived nature of the Ultratech line, a lot of those blasters went away. And because the Ultratech line was only out for a couple of years, some of the blasters in that did not make the transition back into the Air Warriors lineup. Some did. But however, the Sentinel was one of them that did not. So despite the fact that this provided a nice lever action, mag-fed platform that was absolutely far superior to its competition with the Nerf Slingfire, and highly improved on Busby's previous lever action, which is another reason why I'm moving to this, because, of course, my last Busby Classic series featured a lever action, mag-fed blaster, but used shells, the Rapid Fire Tech. This took lever action to a whole new level. This exact model that I'm holding, still after all these years, this is a 2015 model, it still chronographs hitting 90 feet per second straight out of the package, because this one has never been opened as far as I know. Still has everything in place as if it has never been touched. Now, these came with a metal lever, which was far superior to the flimsy plastic lever of the Nerf Slingfire. Nerf Slingfire, its one main benefit is the fact that you can flip it and do tricks, and yeah, it is fun to do. But performance and reliability wise, because this is a direct prime using a metal lever that directly connects to the plunger tube to advance it forward and prime the blaster, this has the ability to take and will handle a lot more abuse, whether it just be use over time, or if you're wanting to up the spring load. The Sentinel itself can handle much more being done inside, whether just, like I said, use, abuse, or modding. The Slingfire has the issue of, it has a gear-driven system with a clutch in it. It has that slipping, ratcheting clutch, and you really can't boost the spring rate of a Slingfire and get much performance out of it, and the Slingfire itself is already a sub-elite standard type performance. Whereas this is already, before you even do anything, it's already a superior blaster. And of course, you can hear that classic Busby pop when you fling the lever and fire a shot. And honestly, the looks are also quite good. The only thing I ever had a complaint about was, well, the stock is too short. I mean, I know even if you're putting it as a target for a kid, the lever itself is plenty big enough for an adult hand. This grip section here is actually fine. I would love to see it come down, but I understand why they didn't. Because if you were to angle this down a little more, you'd have to angle the lever. And yes, that could be achieved by the attachment point here. All they'd have to do is make the lever itself come down more, or even curve this part of the bar. That could come down. Now, that would allow this to come down, and then they could extend the stock, and that would be a fantastic thing that they could do if and when the Sentinel ever makes a return. And the other thing is, it had all this top space, no top rail. And I'm actually partial to a couple of the Busby sights. I like their nice little sight that comes with the Predator and a few other blasters. That little thing actually, it just has crosshairs, and it has a small profile. Would look really nice on this. But in stock form, you had a 90 feet per second lever action magazine fed blaster that even to this day you can show up if you run a stock level war, and some people do. I take part in those myself. If you were to run this as it is, being a 7-year-old blaster, this is still better than what's on the market from the main brands outside of a few Dart Zone and Busby offerings. Like currently the Revolution offers basically the same performance as this, but this thing has a bit more higher end mod potential, and there is no real true lever action on the market that can compete with this at the price point that it was at. And that's the big thing, is that this bundled actually superior construction to the Nerf offering that was more expensive than it. The Sentinel itself was probably the greatest lever action blaster ever made. And I stand by that. Just like I say, for me personally, the Destiny is the greatest air-powered blaster ever made. That's my opinion. You can agree or not. I love this. It's far superior to the Mag Strike. Just like this was head and shoulders above the Slingfire. I mean, to get the Slingfire even somewhat close to the capability of this, you have to spend $60, $70, $80 on metal parts. This already had it. And there's just something about lever action that is just fun to use. Now, again, part of why I wanted to do this is my last one was a lever action here in Busby Classic Series, but I have a couple videos that I wanted to show what can be done with this, and that's going to come up here next week. We're going to have almost kind of like a mini Sentinel week, because I wanted to share something that is a personal primary of mine, and this is going to be a quick little sneak peek of what can be done to improve the Sentinel. And yes, that's Scar Barrel. This actually is a nice 200 plus feet per second blaster now with, I think, a fitting bee themed Hydra dip. And I'm giving you a little teaser here. And this is featuring a product from Foam Sport, who has made a amazing breach, and I'm actually running it on this one. So I'll share that with you next week in 2 separate videos. But the Sentinel itself is the greatest lever action blaster made from the big 4. Of course, that being Busby, Nerf, Dart Zone, and X-Shot, in no particular order. But I absolutely love this blaster. This thing is in my top 5 favorite blasters of all time, along with a couple others. One of them being right here off to my side. That is one of my top 5 as well. But I don't think you can go wrong with this, and I would love to see it return. It showed up from 2015, 2016, and unfortunately the demise of the Ultratech line, that, and a number of things going on behind the scenes with Alex Brands and Busby, things shifted, priorities changed. We got the Thermal Hunter, the Zenith, the Interceptor, and a bunch of other really good blasters. But I really wish we could have retained some of these excellent, now verging on being classics. I mean, this is a legendary blaster. And there's actually going to be a new series that I spin off with the most legendary blasters of Busby's past. This is one of them, and it may be the headliner. But here for the Classic Series, this is Mongoose Jake, featuring the Busby Sentinel from their Ultratech series that was short-lived in 2015-16 and kind of disappeared with the rework of their line, never to return until possibly now. I know that there is a little bit going on. Hopefully we can see something happen. Please give some feedback. If you would love to see the Sentinel return, share this video, give feedback down below, talk about it. What would you like to see if this were to return? What would you like to see changed? Are you like me? You'd like to see a top rail added, a longer stock, a new color scheme, or would you like to see the classic white, blue, and gray of the Ultratech line maybe make a return? I did like this color scheme, although I do like now the deep blue and neon green. It's actually a pretty catching design, the color. And on the new series like the Predator, the Sidewinder, the Revolution, those all look pretty sharp. I wouldn't mind seeing this come back in that. But tell me what you think. Would you like to see this thing come back, and with what changes? The Busby Sentinel, a legendary classic blaster, in my opinion, and the best lever action ever made. Not counting some of the more expensive custom 3D printed designs that are now worked on, because those are amazing too. But from the big four, this is the best lever action that's ever hit the market, and I'd love to see it come back. This is Smuggler's Jake with the Classic Series. Stay tuned for the next episode. Should be showing up here in a couple weeks, and check out my Sentinel videos that will be coming out next week. Until next time, Smuggler's Jake saying thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.